Good afternoon, the warmest of welcomes to VILLICUM circuit in San Juan in Argentina. We are starting the last race number 2 of round number 3 of TCR South America. Here we are in a beautiful midday in VILLICUM with the cars approaching the grid for race number 2. The reverse grid race that will take us through 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Following the very comfortable win grabbed by Leonel Pernilla ahead of Rafael Reis and Fabian Gianantuoni in the podium of race number 2. A bit higher temperature than in the morning, 21 Celsius degrees. That means 69 Fahrenheit degrees. The track temperature is 82 Fahrenheit degrees or 28 Celsius degrees. Here are the entrants. We have 16 cars this weekend in San Juan with the arrival of Ezequiel Bastidas, the latest addition to the grid in Palladini Racing. We'll have Fabricio Pezzini and Juan Angel Rosso starting in the front row. This is the reverse grid race. The pole sitter of yesterday, Leonel Pernilla, will start from 10th. Nelson Piquet Jr. qualified in second, so he will start from 9th place. Juan Angel Rosso had to start race 1 from the back of the grid after an engine replacement. That, of course, is Spanish with a penalty. Heading back into the pits. And we have Fabricio Pezzini starting in first place, a man that has huge memories in this track. He won the 2022 title and celebrated it right here as we are waiting for the we're flying through the grid now. Here we are flying through the grid, and we have some protocol acts. As we see, there are some directives from San Juan province. Special celebration between Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil, countries that are pushing ahead at TCR South America. In the background was Federico Punteri, the president of the series, main promoter. And we'll hear from our pit reporter, Mariano Colombo.
Aquí en el autódromo de VILLICUM en San Juan me voy a acercar hasta la posición del primero que va a estar largando aquí en VILLICUM. Estamos haciendo referencia a Fabricio Pesini, que tiene
We'll hear from Fabricio Pesini, who has great memories.
La categoría acá me imagino, Fabri, buenos recuerdos, pero concentrado para esta carrera.
Sí, concentrado, tenemos un muy buen auto, un buen ritmo, así que bueno, esperemos a ver cómo se va desarrollando la carrera.
Muchas gracias, escuchábamos la palabra entonces de
We'll hope to have a good pace and see how the race develops, says Fabricio Pesini, despite his good memories from 2022. Juan Angel Rosso here sitting in his car, starting in second place.
Entero casi, o sea, no voy a largar con auto, voy a largar a la normal, pero voy a ver dónde libera ahora, porque mirá el pedal, está larguísimo, o sea, es como que voy a largar lo mejor posible, que avisen a Nelsinho por las dudas, ¿viste?
Tell Nelsinho, just in case my pedal is a bit long, I'll try to start as good as I can, says Thiago Pernia on the radio. We are about to start race number 2 in a very promising afternoon. Races with reverse grid are always interesting. We'll start the formation lap in a few seconds. We are about to enjoy race number 2 of TCR South America throughout all the world. And here is the starting grid. It's Fabricio Pesini, who qualified in 10th and has the reverse grid pole. In second, we have Juan Angel Rosso with the Lincoln Co. from Palladini Racing. Mariano Pernia starts in third with the best Honda of Honda YPF Racing, followed by the best Peugeot from PMO Racing is the Panamanian Luis Ramirez. Reigning champion Pedro Cardoso starts in fifth for PMO Racing with the Peugeot 308, followed by the other Lincoln Co. in Palladini Racing, driven by Fabian Gianantuoni. Sixth place for Thiago Pernia for Honda YPF Racing, followed in eighth by Rafael Reis with the W2 Pro GP Cupra, starting in eighth. Ninth place is Nelson Piquet Jr., only ahead of the pole sitter, the quickest man on Saturday, and winner of race 1, Leonel Pernia from Honda YPF Racing. Gennaro Raceto will start in second. In 11th place, he was ahead in 12th place of Santino Ballerini. 13th place for the rookie Ezequiel Bastidas, making his debut in the series. 14th place for Port Hack Racing and the Honda driven by Enzo Gianfrati, leading TCR trophy, ahead of Adrian Chiriano. And in 16th, we have Maria Nienkotter with the Toyota from Cobra Racing, the Brazilian team. Here is Leonel Pernia, who starts from pole position. In race 1, we had 10-second penalties for Gennaro Raceto, demoted to 10th place, and Mariano Pernia demoted to 9th. Of course, the podium remains untouched. The top 5 remains untouched, with Leonel Pernia, Rafael Reis, Fabian Gianantuoni, Pedro Cardoso, and Luis Ramirez. Fabricio Pesini just ahead of the two punished drivers in 6th. Juan Angel Rosso and Ezequiel Bastidas moved up 2 places. As here are other cars lining up on the grid. Here are the cars lining up on the grid. And now the green flag is waving. Now we'll have the lights, and we are racing in VILLICUM. It's a good start by Fabricio Pesini, a slow start in the rows behind, as we have Ramirez moving up into 3rd place, and into the lead goes Juan Angel Rosso, taking turn 1 ahead of Pesini. In 3rd is Ramirez, in 4th is Mariano Pernia, followed in 5th place by Pedro Cardoso, ahead of another of the Lincoln Co's. It seems to be Fabian Gianantuoni. There is Cardoso going through, trying to overtake Mariano Pernia and line up in 4th place behind Ramirez. The teammates now all the way pushing is Mariano Pernia to remain in 4th place ahead of Cardoso. Gianantuoni behind. Rafael Reis is back in 7th position. It's a comfortable lead in the early meters for Juan Angel Rosso, ahead of Reis, both pulling away from number 3. In place number 3 also Luis Ramirez, the driver from Panama. Here comes the cars, and they are now coming towards the opposite end of the track on turn number 6, as they are now in turn 7. Oh, a bit wide is Pedro Cardoso, bringing some dust into the tarmac, and that leaves a bit more of space for some cars. Ramirez has dropped back lots of places lost by the Panamanian. Let's go on board with Leonel Pernia. Here are the cars to head into the main straight, and we'll now sort out the order of these. Race number 2, Rosso is on the lead. In second is Pesini. Third place for my fourth place for Gianantoni. Rafael Reyes moving places up ahead of Leonel Pernilla. Cardoso Ramirez dropped back to 8 from third. Diego Pernilla and rounded off the top 10 ahead of Gennaro Raceto. Nelson Piquet Jr. losing in a few places. Bastidas Gianfrati leading trophy. Then Chiriano Nienkotter, the full order after the first lap of the race, as Rafael Juan Angel Rosso for the lead of the race. The Rosso early, and now on the outside was Piquet Jr. trying to go rounding out Raceto on the outside and get into the 11th position. Here is the whole pack of cars through the opposite straights after turn number 5, heading into turn number 6. Here is the braking zone. Reyes and Pezzini. Now Pezzini going into the lead. Pezzini goes into the lead. Yes, he does. He goes into the lead of the race in the inside. A bit wide braking, possibly over some dust by Juan Angel Rosso. And now Pezzini, who celebrated the 2022 title right here in VILLICUM, is now taking the lead of the race as they are in the more twisty section of the track, heading into turn number 11 to complete these laps. And now diving into turn 14 to close one more lap. Here are the cars going through the main straights. Pezzini breaking into turn 1, followed by Juan Angel Rosso. Everything is very, very tight yet in the race, as some of the drivers from behind might move up a few spots. The top 5 is quite stick together. Two-tenths of a second from Pezzini to Rosso. The fastest lap was set by Gianantoni, 1:43.9. I have my steering wheel bent, says Leonel Pernilla. We'll see if race number 1 winner is in trouble. Look at him moving up from the racing line. We hope everything is okay in his car. There he is, going back into the racing line. And now in the braking zone is Ballerini, trying to go through and overtake Raceto, who is now on the outside. And Ballerini will have the inner line. There is Pezzini, Rosso. Mariano Pernilla remains in third. Gianantoni pushing from 4th position ahead of Rafael Reyes. Gianantoni wants to score a double podium. Let's hear it. Fabrizio Pezzini on his way to close another lap. 25 minutes have now remaining. Let's have a look at the replay now. Oh, that's the contact between Thiago and Leonel Pernilla. From son to father. Let's watch the steering wheel of Pernilla after the collision. He got slammed, and from there on, it was harder. Let's see Ramirez. Big battles going on in San Juan. As Nelson Piquet Jr. now moves up into the 10th place, into the top 10. Now in 9. Ramirez dropping back, now in 10th place. And there is a car off. I couldn't see who it was. I think it's Ballerini. I think it's Santino Ballerini. Pesini now leading and pulling away a bit more from Juan Angel Rosso. Now 1.2 seconds ahead of the driver from Palladini Racing. Mariano Pernilla is 2.2 seconds behind the leader. Gian Antuoni is 2.9 behind. As Ballerini dropped back to last place, we'll see what happens to him. And we have a safety car. Safety car is out. Yes, Ballerini is out of the race and out of his car. Race is now stopped under the safety car. There is Santino Ballerini's car in sector 3, stuck in the gravel. We have 15 cars now on track. Let's see the replay of what happened. Here is Pesini braking on the outside and then heading into the inside as Rosso was a little bit wide, taking the lead. Experienced driver Pesini, one of the oldest on the grid, if not the oldest. Here is Leonel Pernilla leading the race in race 1, winning the race in race 1, and now in 6th place. But this safety car certainly means that he could do something from that position, as things might be really promising for the standings leader. And now the race is going to be resumed. Pesini, Rosso, and Mariano Pernilla in the top 3 in this race number 2 from TCR South America. We are live from VILLICUM circuits in San Juan. As now we see Gian Antoni trying to dive into the inside, protecting 4th place from Rafael Reyes. In a really tight race that we are having right now. Pesini trying to pull away from Juan Angel Rosso. In 3rd is Mariano Pernilla. In 4th is Fabián Gian Antoni ahead of Rafael Reyes. Leonel Pernilla in 6th. Then is Cardoso, Thiago Pernilla, Piquet Jr. and Luis Ramirez rounding off the top 10. Behind him we have Raceto, Bastidas, Jen Frati leading TCR Trophy ahead of Chiriano and Nien Cotter. There are all the string of the 15 cars that are left in the race, with 17 minutes yet on the clock, taking down. This is the second last stop of TCR South America in Argentina throughout this 2025 calendar. We'll then move into the 2 stops in Uruguay and the final stretch of 4 events in Brazil in the last semester, including the new street circuits in Belo Horizonte. TCR South America racing in the street circuits once again after the event held in La Pedrera in San Luis alongside TCR World Tour in 2023. Now the cars are slowly separating in an interesting race that we could have from now on. We are only going through the midpoints of this race. Pesini holding an advantage from the rest. Ramirez and the other Peugeot of Raceto behind him, both heading slightly wide. Look at Pernilla once again diving into the inline, possibly for some cooling in his car. It's not exactly what we would call a very hot day, as we're in the middle of the autumn season right now in Southern Hemisphere. Pesini about to open a second of gap to Juan Angel Rosso. He's holding a good lead right now firmly. Mariano Pernilla is in 3rd, and he is much more dedicated to defend himself from the rest of the cars behind, as Thiago Pernilla was battling Piquet Jr. Here are the cars closing one more lap, and now Pesini is 1.1 seconds ahead of Juan Angel Rosso. Mariano Pernilla is in 3rd. Gian Antoni is in 4th. Here is Piquet Jr. going through the inside with Thiago Pernilla. Pernilla putting no resistance at all, letting the Brazilian by, knowing that he has quite a better pace. He was with the hazard lights on. And I'm surprised that Pernilla, in every lap, he is going through to the inside line. Something must be wrong in his car, I'm sure.
podemos con Cardoso, lo habilitamos a Piquet que viene más rápido que vos.
Can you overtake Cardoso, or otherwise we'll have let Nelsinho by, was the instruction on the radio. Now Thiago Pernilla has let Piquet by. Here we see the chance by Gian Antuoni diving into the inside, trying to climb up to third place, and he does. Mariano Pernilla now back in fourth position, and it's a 2-3 for Palladini Racing right now. Here we have the standings on screen. Mariano Pernilla is in third, was in third, and now in fourth. Now Palladini Racing putting 2 cars on the podium. That's certainly helpful for the team's championship. Thiago Pernilla goes in the inside. Ramirez and Gennaro Rassetto, the 2 Peugeots, battling the Honda for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Let's go on board with Ramirez. Now look at Pernilla into the inside, defending himself from Rafael Reyes. Certainly big challenge for him. Mariano Pernilla defending himself from Rafael Reyes. Lionel Pernilla right behind Rafael Reyes, also in a tough combat between possibly the best drivers of the weekend. Let's go forward with Pernilla. Pizzini leading from Rosso and Gian Antuoni. Pernilla remains in fourth, and now this is the battle. Gian through, overtaking with Hammer on in Rosso's car. This is any team strategy to try to catch Pizzini. Otherwise, then possibly Gian Antuoni giving back the position. I'm sure this is all part of a team strategy to say if any of the two can battle. We were expecting to hear the radio comms. Here is the replay of the maneuver between the two Link and Go teammates. Pizzini and Gian Antuoni. Now the gap is quite larger. This could be a challenge. But that's the challenge. Palladini Racing is trying to see if any of the cars can catch Pizzini. If it's not Rosso, they will give the chance to Gian Antuoni. Let's go on board with Ezequiel Bastidas in his debut. Mariano Pernilla defending himself from Rafael Reyes, who is attacking more and more from fifth, trying to move up to fourth position. As now Piquet Jr. is overtaking Cardoso. These two have given us loads of action throughout the season. The reigning champion and one of the biggest assets. Seven minutes and a half remaining in the clock in this race number 2 of TCR South America. We're live from VILLICUM in San Juan province in Argentina. Certainly a very, very nice venue for good racing in this country. Mariano Pernilla resisting ahead of Rafael Reyes so far. Very tough battle. Now Mariano Pernilla still resisting in 4th place, holding off to that position. Behind we have Enzo Gianfrati leading TCR Trophy ahead of Nien Cotter and Chiriano. Much more equalized racing between the three of them. Piquet Jr. ahead of Cardoso as we follow the battle for 4th position between Rafael Reyes and Rosso. Paladin Racing expectant for what might happen in this last stretch of the race. Mariano Pernilla still in 4th position. 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes remaining in the clock in this race. Pernilla seems to be really struggling. Reyes might have come quicker out to that straight. Cassini in full throttle, leading very comfortably, and now will it be for Reyes or Mariano Pernilla will be able to resist in this position? It's a very, very tight battle between two rough drivers. Race battles on the outside, but Pernia defends properly. And now they are back in the main straights, heading into the main straights. Race wants to keep on battling for 4th position. He really wants that. A really dusty surface today. One more lap for the cars. Look at the gap. Pesini setting a huge pace throughout all this race. The Cupra, free of kilos of compensation weight, is doing really marvelously here in VILLICUM. As we said, a track that gives this man huge memories. Most precious memories of his life as a racing driver, as he won here his only racing title. As now it's race finally going through, managing to overtake Pernia. Whoa, just slight contact between the two cars. Pernia is really rough to overtake, and there is Race diving into the inside, and right behind is Lionel Pernia, who wants to take advantage of this and wants to do a double overtaking. Behind him is also Nelson Piquet Jr. Four close each other. Race now is in 4th place, Lionel Pernia in 5th, and Nelsinho Piquet in 6th. As Pernia is now resisting on Nelsinho Piquet's. Wolf had to step on the brakes to avoid a contact. As Lionel Pernia laid out before race 1, it is wide open for racing each other, but Mariano Pernia seemed to be a bit more careful.
Quedan 2 vueltas, cuando falte una hacemos el cambio. Pernia cada vez más lejos.
2 laps. When we have 1, we do the swap. Pernia is far and farther away, was the instruction on radio for Rosso and Gian Antuoni. As you could see, they are already with the places back. We're in the final lap of the race. Rosso back in 2nd, considering he is battling for the title closer than Gian Antuoni. Last minutes of the race, and Cardoso battling with Thiago Pernilla. They are both trying to battle for 7th, and might be really tricky in these last laps, these last meters of the race. Will be a really challenging battle, as this is the strongest of all today in this weekend. Fabrizio Pesini, who celebrated the title back in 2022, is now celebrating the win in race number 2. Fabrizio Pesini is here, winning race number 2 of TCR South America. Fantastic race by this man. Excellent efforts from W2 Pro GP, where he celebrated the 2022 title. He's now enjoying a win. Here is our winner, Fabrizio Pesini. Having won in great fashion. Very good race by TCR South America.
¡Ahí! ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos! ¡Gallardo!
Great celebrations on radio. Full results here: Pesini, Rosso, Gianantuoni in the podium. Reis, Leonel Pernilla, Piquet, Mariano Pernilla, Pedro Cardoso, Thiago Pernilla, and Raceto rounding off the top 10. Here is our winner. Rated Senna style helmet. Rosso and Gian Antoni are completing the podium. Very nice collect of points. Here is Fabrizio Pesini. Celebration between the Paladino Racing drivers. Fabrizio, our winner. Incredible starts. You could recover. Yeah, I didn't start very well. I tried not to desperate. I tried over Rosso.
Metí bien el auto y él no se cerró, así que, mira, se lo quiero dedicar a Oscar, Antonina, mis dos viejos, mi señora, mi hija y mi hijo.
Celebrating this and dedicating this to his parents, his wife and his children.
Está largando su final en karting en Cabrera, así que sé que me están mirando. Mucha suerte para él.
I know my son is watching me. He's about to start his karting race. He said, Fabrizio Pesini, a very emotional man, celebrating his win. Gian Antoni, Rosso, both coming up into the podium. And here is our winner, Fabrizio Pesini. And the Argentinian anthem. Now is the trophy ceremony about to start in VILLICUM. Been a fantastic weekend here in VILLICUM. driver of the weekend is Leonel Pernilla. Now we'll go through to TCR Trophy podium. Adrian Chiriano in second, Mariano Incoter in third, and there is Enzo Gianfratti, the winner. And here is the celebration also. And loads of people in here celebrating. Then we'll shift the focus to Termas de Rio Hondo in June 1st. It will be the fourth and last stop in Argentina in this 2025 calendar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. My name is Francisco Auer. It's been a pleasure. See you soon in TCR South America. Thank you. Bye-bye.